Welcome to Lifted, elevating the game. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of the Lifted podcast series. I'm sure a very much awaited podcast, the post-tournament analysis of Minnesota and what took place just, a couple weeks ago. I think the title says it all, the new era of stars. And it's not so much about the new era of the champions, United Stars, but more so the new era, the double meaning here, is of the new stars that are coming up in this game. And I think we saw that this tournament. A lot of people were like, well, 19 teams, but a lot of them weren't that good. And, tournament's a little bit watered down. But to me, volleyball is a cycle. And every couple of years, you're going to get a cycle of new talent, a cycle of new teams. We saw the formation of Toronto Haes for the first time, which was wonderful. A lot of new stars there. We saw young guns coming up in the game. And I think anybody who says that the tournaments have been watered down have to understand that tournaments are never going to be competitive year in, year out for 20, 30, 40 years. There were times in the 2000s where, things started to get watered down. People moved from New York to Orlando and New York got watered down. And then multiple teams opened up in Toronto and things got watered down there. So it is just the cycle of the way. And then in 2009, you get Faisal Banji, right? And then from 2010, you get this past era of stars. And now we're in another era of stars, a new era of stars that are going to come up in this game. And it is our duty as the veterans, as the older guys, to continue on playing in this era, in this new era, because these kids are one day going to come up in the next 3 to 5 years, and they're going to kick our asses and they're going to win championships. And it is going to be the fruit of our labor, the fruit of us playing with them in these stages of their development that's going to get them better. If we abandon ship, if we leave, if we don't host these tournaments, even if they are watered down, quote unquote, then these kids are never going to learn. And they're never going to get better. And they're never going to come one day and use the fire against us to beat us. So listen, man, I'm here for the long haul. I'm here for the game, for the long haul of the game. The thing I'm thinking 10 years down the line when hopefully, some of our kids are playing. And I want to see guys like Ziddy from Allentown Challengers, kicking my ass. I want to see guys like some Ali Akbar Alu and all these guys on the Orlando Union B team come and kick our ass. So before I get into the analysis, I want to make it clear that, listen, tournaments are going to come and go. And some of us are going to be here for a while, as you saw, right? As you saw, we're going to be here. And those kids coming up, keep playing. Don't let anybody tell you anything else. Don't let anybody tell you that you went to a watered down tournament. Don't let anybody tell you that you didn't deserve what you got, because you're in a time now where I was 10 years ago when the game was watered down, right? And I was coming up in the game. And you know what? From that time, from that era, the likes of Thurab, the likes of Imran Walji, the likes of Hilal, KJ, Imran Juvraj, those guys, we grew up together. We grew up in the last 10 years in this game together. And now you got all these stars. So you guys are going to get there. You guys are going to be the next batch of stars, and we're going to help you in any way possible. Sorry, that was my little rant. Let's get to the analysis. I'll make this quick. I give out the lifted medallions every tournament. I talk about the teams, the 10 teams that qualified now, including the play-in. And I want to make it clear that even if you didn't qualify, I am now going to give out honorary medallions for the teams that didn't qualify, because there were some kids that I thought, some people that I saw that really, caught my eye. I'm sure caught a lot of people's eyes out there. So we'll start off with the honorary medallions going to Allentown Challengers A, Ziddy Hassan Ali. This kid, I mean, all the makeup of a superstar, right? He's got the offense, he's got the defense, he's got the Kizzer-like athleticism, he's got the attitude. He played phenomenal. And I know that, listen, Star Challengers weren't the team that we all thought they were going to be, because, they didn't have Obi, and we all heard Sammy was sick because you guys all put Nudger on him because he's my favorite player, but let's not get there. But Ziddy came out balling, and he was able to showcase himself. I think Challengers saw that, hey, listen, we have somebody here that we can use like Kizzer. If we really hone his skills, we can get him to get to that point. So a lot of credit to you, Ziddy, for holding it down. For you're. I know you're new to the game. I know you're just entered the game, but you got a long career ahead of you, and I think you're gonna be one of the main reasons that Allentown, in general, is gonna be back on the map. At some point, Allentown is going to be a contender. Whether that's Challengers or Union, I think we'll get to that in a bit. Orlando Union B, we saw a lot of young guys there. Guys like Ali Akbar Alu, Mazhar Ali, Amstar, Aftab, the list goes on and on. Muju Bode and all these guys, right? Like, sorry, not Muju Bode. Muju Bode is Muju Bode, right? But Muju, right? Mujai John Moment. We saw a bunch of kids coming up in the game, led by Hussein Vargas and Hassan Somji, and maybe a little bit disappointing of a tournament for them. But to me, the guy that came out of all that as the person who deserves the medallion is Hussein Nasser. Hussein Nasser was probably the most consistent and constant piece in that puzzle. No matter who they kept switching in and out in different positions and whatnot, Hussein Nasser was the staple. And I think Hussein Nasser deserves his flowers. I think Hussein Nasser, if he continues to play in the net, because the kid's got some game when he comes out, but if he continues to play in the net, I think a couple of years, he'll probably be one of the best netties in the game. Minnesota B probably gave Orlando Union, us, the hardest time in the round robin. But they got two guys there, man, that balled, and that's Ali Salim Muhammad and Mikhail Mullah. I mean, these guys, Mikhail Mullah, I never seen him like that before. I mean, he was jumping and hitting floaters. Ali Salim Muhammad. Ali Salim Muhammad's always got game. I told the guy, he's always got game. You got to play. Not too much of a fan of volleyball, but I think if Ali Salim Muhammad starts from now, he's on that A team. He's on that Minnesota A team, probably playing somewhere on that front line or maybe that back line. You know what I'm saying? Because that guy can hit the ball. So honorary medallions, both your guys' way. I'm going to go to New York B. New York B, Mohammad Ratani, man. Mohammad Ratani played with me once on an A team, and he's just a good guy, good teammate. He at one point played the entire center himself. I mean, it was kind of ridiculous. And he played amazing, man. He played amazing. All credit to him for trying to, make that work. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them, but he still played out of this world. And then Orlando Unknown. Orlando Unknown, one of the most fun teams to be around, to watch, to support. And those guys, Zamin Sheikh and, Ali Hussein Jaffer and, the Mohammad Rafiq Somji, man, Moraf, man, playing his butt off, injuring himself. Zayan, right? Like just a fun group of guys. They enjoyed it. Mason Darcy, first time playing net, ever in his life. Dude, the guys were so much fun to watch. They love the game. They have the passion. They every game for them was big. And I just love being there around them just to, feel that joy, because I was there once, right? Like when people are counting you out and you're just trying to make your name and trying to get better in the game. But man, I love those guys, and they're going to be special, and they're going to be fun. That medallion goes to Ali Mahdi Devji. Ali Mahdi, he had a road at one point with the Orlando youth, and he took a break to focus on golf, which I don't blame him. But he's back. A couple of nice spikes, super athletic, gifted. He can hit the ball a little. He's coming to practice. He's going to get better. And I think, don't be surprised. He jumps onto that B team at some point. And hey, you never know. In 5 years, he's got his own A team. He's on a team with the A team, and he's maybe hopefully going for championships. So those are my honorary medallion guys. Before I get into the top 10 teams, all you guys deserve it. All you guys played amazing. I love watching you guys, and I think just keep running, keep going. Don't get down on the losses. Don't get down on not qualifying. It's gonna come with due time, with due practice. But I think you guys deserve a little bit of a shout out. Before I continue, I wore this. It's NBA season, so a little shout out to the Knickerbockers, New York or nowhere, and orange and blue skies. We lost the first game against the Celtics, but we won't talk about that. NBA season's upon us. Gotta talk about the Knicks. Qualified teams. We'll start with the teams that qualified, and obviously I'll work my way up until we get to stars, who are the eventual champions. The teams are not in order because some of the teams beat the other teams or took the other team's spot. So I'll try to go in order in terms of who made it as far as possible. We'll start off with Edmonton, the number 10 seed, mixed team, right? They got some guys like Aslam, and they had Benny, and they had Ali Kamalia, and they had Benny Ali Kamalia, and they had Mahmoud Abbas Ladda. So they had a mixed team, but Salim Dalla, the staple. Shout out Salim Dalla for rocking that Tagaro sleeves. Respect for you guys. I love watching Edmonton play. I think they're a fun team. A lot of ups and downs throughout, but hey, they made it. They made it into playing. Pretty much all you can really ask for. They gave it a good fight, but unfortunately, it wasn't in their calling. But shout out to Edmonton for even coming. I know that it was tough for them to even make it, but shout out to you guys. We love having you guys at tournaments. We hope you can make it to New York. And to be honest, just good guys to be around. All those guys are good guys. Love the game. Love watching the game. Salim Dalla, a wonderful linesman. I'm just kidding, my brother. The medallion, Aslam at 55, right? Like doing what he does, played amazing, the best he could, and given the circumstances. And man, the guy still got it. And, to be honest, a part of the reason why the B team was so successful in Orlando in December. I mean, the guy still in practice kicks our asses. So Aslam, medallion your way. Number 9, which truly was number 7, but they ended up getting kicked out in the play-in tournament, Allentown Union. And, Allentown Union had big wins against Stars in New York in the round robin. Some mix of youth, some veterans. It was super cool to watch Taha and Abbas Kaku back with Banji and Sumar. We didn't see that in Orlando. And Taha and Abbas played amazing defense. Banji in the middle. Hasnain Khalfan always Mr. Reliable. Hani Virji. Hani Virji doesn't really get to play much. I mean, coming in, playing amazing on the front left. And then you got Sadiq Ibrahim. Sadiq Ibrahim, I haven't seen him in a while. And pretty darn good tournament for a man his age. And we hadn't seen him. And he was helped out by a little kid, a 14-year-old kid thrown into the line of fire, helped Sadiq Ibrahim out. And that was a young and fearless Ammar Khalfan. Ammar, I was shocked to see he didn't have, he was almost Imran Walji-esque in his facial expressions. Doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Kind of just does his job, enjoys himself. And man, he came in clutch. A lot of times he came in clutch. So Ammar Khalfan, I didn't give you an honorary medallion because you qualified, but you deserve a mention, a shout out. Keep going, kid. You're going to get it. You already got the makeup of it. Your father's been one of the best role players of all time. Azhar, Sumar, and Balu in the net. I mean, first tournament for Balu, and he played pretty well. And Azhar Sumar is just an athlete, a freak of nature, right? He had to make a sacrifice after playing out in December. Now he's playing in net, and he did it. And I left the best for last. Ahmad Sumar proved he still got it. And now that not only does he have it, but he came up clutch during big games, playing that mid-center-ish role with some help. But, at his advanced age of 48, man, the guy played front center like one of the best. He kind of was doing his thing, diving, busting his ass. He unfortunately gets hurt against Haedry, diving and busting his ass. And it wasn't the same, right? Like he wasn't the same also during the Vancouver game. I think he had to come out at some point. Azhar had to come in. And it just, you can tell, like, that really took the air out of the balloon for Allentown. I think a disappointing exit because they had done so well in the round robin. They beat United Stars. They beat New York. They come 7th. I mean, almost seems like a lock for them, right? They should be in the quarterfinal. That is a team that you expect to be in the quarterfinal. And unfortunately, they lose 2 straight and get knocked out. And to be honest, I love Allentown in terms of, like, those guys have always been close to us in New York, especially when I was there. And a part of me wants to almost tell him to wake up. It's time for a shakeup. If you haven't noticed, it's time to let the kids do their thing. I think it's time to maybe combine. I don't think there's enough talent, or there may be too much talent, but there's not enough room for 2 teams in Allentown. And I think it may make more sense if you guys just come together, figure it out, let the kids grow, let them do their thing. Okay, maybe if you want to add 1 or 2 veterans with them, let Zidi and Azhar and, let those guys play together. Hadi, let them figure it out. Okay, let Taha, Abbas, Mehdi Ali Sunasra, let them figure it out. The kids got Kumel Sunasra, like, they got it, right? Let the other kids figure it out. Let those guys are now 5, 7, 8, 10 years in the game. Let them do their thing, right? And then the guys like Sam and all you guys still got talent. You guys still got time, right? Like you guys can figure it out, I'm sure, and still be competitive. There could be 3 very solid teams in Allentown if you guys just work together. Now, it is not my duty to tell you. I'm nobody, but I see it and it just sucks. It sucks to see everyone separate. And I know that you guys are very cordial and you guys have a great relationship, but at the end of the day, maybe if you guys got together, Allentown could be back on top, because there's nothing better than seeing Allentown back on top for me, especially, right? Like I love watching all you guys coming up and playing, and I just see so much talent there, man. There's just so much talent that I think is being wasted. I think if you guys come together, you guys can make an elite super team, right? Medallion, Ahmad Sumar. I mean, I don't have to say too much, right? 48, playing mid center, diving, beating Stars, beating New York. The guy is special. He's a freak in terms of his volleyball mentality, his skill, his mindset. And the guy didn't want to leave the game. He didn't want to leave the game. He kept fighting. He kept fighting and fighting. Even when he was getting hurt, he kept fighting. And for me, that's a true mark of a guy who just doesn't want to let his team down. He was so positive. Every time the team was down, he was in it. He was telling Taha, he was telling Abbas, he was telling Banji, let's go. Like he was in the game. Even when Amar would mess up, he'd be the first guy to give him a 5. I mean, Ahmad Sumar deserves a lot of respect. And I think Ahmad Sumar is still a very integral piece of what Allentown could do in the future. Number 8, Van City, an up and down tournament that saw them finish 9th and fighting for the play-in and almost for their lives. They had to win 2 games in a row to make it in. They take care of business. They beat Edmonton. They end up beating Allentown. But, they take some tough losses in the round robin. I mean, they lose to Orlando Union B, and it almost seemed like it was going to be a tall task for them to even make it in. But they found a way to come away with the final spot. And I think a lot of what has taken place in Vancouver's rebuild, it's almost like they're rebuilding and adding pieces, right? So anybody naturally, while they're rebuilding and adding pieces, they're going to go through phases of like, okay, I got to move, for example, Pops to the right, and then I got to move Ali Zaman to the left, and I got to move Yusuf to the back. So when you look at that team, like they're learning on the fly almost, right? Because they're working out their kinks. And so when that happens, it's almost like people are finding their footing. And so a big shift, right? Even for Pops, he's playing front right now. He's playing front left the entire time. So credit to them, because it's not easy to do that. And they're sticking it out. I'm sure a lot of us and them too were expecting better, I think, from them, right? Than having to fight for a play-in spot. But also, a sense of disappointment where, it's been a string of now a couple of quarterfinal exits. And it seems like as much as they attempt to make that gap smaller between the bottom 4 of the 8 and the top 4 of the 8, sometimes they have a letdown in those big games. And that's tough on a team that could truly, bring down morale, make people second guess things. And yeah, I know everyone's talked about it. Everyone's talking about they've scored 4 points in the last 4 quarterfinal games. That's 1 point a game. That's unacceptable. And it sucks because they have so much talent. You would think that, that wouldn't be the case. But this tells me that it's not a talent thing. I don't think it's a talent thing. I think they got all the talent they need. I think it's more of a mental thing. It's a thing where more experience will get them to the place that they need to be. And for sure, I think they'll cross that line. They have too much talent not to. At the same token, there's portions in a rebuild that a team starts to figure out their identity. I don't think Vancouver has an identity. I think Vancouver is, do you look at Vancouver and go, oh, that team is steady? Do you look at Vancouver and go, whoa, that's an attacking team? No, I think they're in flux almost. They're figuring it out as they go along because they're moving so many pieces around, and they're trying to, Mokaku played back left this time, for example, right? So they're moving pieces around, trying to find the fit. I think once they find the fit, which they might have done this time with that front line, I think then you find your identity. And then once you find your identity, you start to work on that identity. You start to realize what helps us win games. Is it defense? Is it offense? Is it attacking from here, attacking from there? And it's tough because when your team is maturing and they're taking losses, and I've been here, it's almost like they start second guessing things, right? They start second guessing, like, are we doing the right thing? Are we not? Why are we not excelling? Why are we not getting past this hump? And I think as time goes on and tournaments start to happen, and you start to realize that game to game is very different. Styles make fights. We talk about that all the time. They're also trying to figure out pieces of their puzzle. Now they figured it out. I think for the most part, they figured out the pieces to their puzzle, and I think the team as a whole, they're going to come together and realize that, listen, Vancouver is built very much like, you know, an Orlando, Stanmore. There's not one star. Truly, there's not like a Thurab, right? There's not like a Imran Waji, for example, right? There's not one guy. There's a multiple guys. And I think when they take L's, it's as a team. And when they win, it's going to be as a team. They're going to have to figure out ways to either manufacture points or not give up too many points. And that is a way that they're going to have to figure it out, because they got talent in all spots. I think they finally are slowly putting a team together that's going to be there for the long haul. Sometimes, in a rebuild, you're not sure of a person. You're not sure of the future. I think everyone's pretty sure now of what Vancouver is going to look like for tournaments to come. And I think the biggest test will be New York. I think New York, you'll see, will they remain a bottom 4 team in that 8? Will they start to slowly make it in, or at least make a crack at it, winning one quarterfinal game, giving a team an upset, coming through. Mehdi knows. Mehdi almost upset Faisal Banji at one point, right? So Mehdi knows that, listen, anything is possible. And if you get a good matchup in a quarterfinal, they could be in a semis, right? Like, yeah, I think the first goal is to let's just win a game in the quarterfinal, but I think they can do it. And I think that once they figure out their style, once they figure out their identity, once they figure out what they're good at, once they figure out how to cover up their weaknesses, I think this team can excel. I think this team can definitely get there. The medallion, front right, Pops. Dude, I give you all the credit in the world. And I'll tell you why. That quarterfinal game against Stars in Orlando, I saw how down you were. I saw that you took that on your shoulders a little bit. I saw that you felt like you let the team down. I can tell you this much. You were the most consistent player on this team, especially day 2 going into day 3. I mean, even the Orlando front line, we were attacking you, and we were like, man, Pops is hitting the ball back. And he's hitting the ball back with aggression, with fear, no fear, with like you were fearless, bro. And so for you, a big come up, and you're just a good dude. You're good team vibes. I respect that about you. You enjoy the game. You admire the game. And I think this medallion, you deserve it. You deserve to be showcased and shouted out, because I think from what happened in December, you came around this time and proved that you belong, and that you can excel, and that you can help this team win one day. So Pops, all the credit to you, brother. Salutations. Number 7, Toronto Haes. I mean, come on, Toronto Haes, right? The most fun team to watch this tournament. A whole bunch of young guys, a whole bunch of passion, a whole bunch of greatness that's instilled in them, and you can see it in their game. There's going to be some serious greatness on that team. I'm telling you, in a couple of years, it's truly admirable seeing the way they play, the way they carry themselves. They're just a good bunch of kids, man, and it's good to see familiar faces. Abbas Rai doing an amazing job leading these guys. He's been through it all. He understands what it takes. Kumail Nanji, he's been a champ. It's good to see him back. Like, it's just fun to see Kumail Nanji back. Servants of Zahra, back center, front center. I mean, Nettie, what a combo, right? It's natural. Their chemistry is amazing. Then you got the new kids on the block, right, that are trying to figure out their footing. I think it was nice to see new faces. It was nice to see guys coming out and truly, working together to figure out, where they are. I think the Dalla brothers, Ali and Abbas. Abbas was the back left, I believe, and Ali was the front center, one of the front centers, if I'm not mistaken. Those kids, man, I don't know where they found them, but they're freaking good, and they're having fun, and they're smiling, and they're enjoying themselves. And then you got 2 guys that have truly been around, but maybe just haven't had, or didn't find the right spot to play in. And we've seen them at tournaments, and maybe they finally found their place, and they can be themselves. And that's Imran Jaxi, who's always been there, but I think he just fit in. He just looked like he fit in. He was able to excel, right? He was able to play his role, and he just looked good being on that team. And it was wonderful to see Imran Jaxi back. But of course, my favorite, Mick Doogie. Mick Doogie, Mr. Good Looking. It's a close call. I had a combo with him, and I don't know if he thought I was kidding or something. But Faz, him, Khalil Kaki, it's a toss up, man, for the best looking player in the game. I mean, the guy's got the swagger, but more importantly, he's a wonderful kid. And a lot of people may not remember him, but he's won before. He was the second netty, I believe, for Thurab and Stars against Faisal when they won. And in my opinion, if he had never taken the hiatus and with the amount of swagger he lifted with, I think he could have been one of the best netties in the game at one point. But he had so much potential, and but now he's back. He's back, and he's adjusted to playing, out, and he fits the system so well. And it's just good to see you, Mick. And I'm just so happy you're back, man. I'm happy you're enjoying the game. You deserve it, and all credit to you to fight it out and find a spot and just make it back into the game. Because sometimes people lose the fire, people lose the passion, but you look like you got it back. You're young, and it's. I think you guys have something here. You guys have something really cool here. And then lastly, the two kids I saw grow up, man. All I know is that their father, Rocky Shiraz Nur Muhammad, would be proud of seeing Sahil and Saqib get to this point. We all know those kids had game. We all know how much Rocky loved the game, loved the sport. One of my biggest supporters growing up. One of the guys that just like every time I think about Rocky, man, it's just I remember him at Friday practice. I remember him, chugging down the Red Bulls, ready to go. And I would always ask him, like, yo, why are you drinking these Red Bulls, man? Like, like you don't need that. And he goes, bro, when you're hitting at me, I need everything I can get. So today he gets to watch his kids from up there, and he is smiling down. Saqib, similar to Mick, Anetti by trade, right? And it's amazing to see him come out and have his come out party and play in the front center. And the guy's athletic freak, right? He's almost Hassan Manakia like, right? Hassan Manakia light, if anything. He's up there. He's gonna get up there. And then Sahil. I mean, Sahil, I think he shocked us all. I think he was the one that was hitting the ball back with reckless abandon and fear, and he's fearless, and he was hitting third balls back, man. And at first, I remember playing against him, and we said, "No, let's hit the ball to Sahil. Let's see what he's got." And then he hit that ball back, and we were all shook, and we're like, brother, let's not go there anymore, because I think he told me he took 3 points off me in the game, but he doesn't realize that he took 3 points off Imran Juraj. So Imran Juraj would like to blame me, but I'm going to blame Imran Juraj on that. But anyways, very much like his dad, very much like his father, fearless, just fearless, man, afraid of nothing, just like Rocky. Medallion, Sahil, all yours, brother. You deserve it. You played lights out. Keep going with that attitude. Keep doing you. Don't shy away. And your time will come, because the amount you've excelled in the last few years, man, I remember you being a little scrawny kid, barely making it into the net. And now I see you just blindly just hitting away. And it's a scary thought. It's a scary thought. So keep doing you, man. Keep doing you, brother. Number 6, United Stars B. I mean, what a story, right? Mohaimin, HV, Hussein Virji, some vets like Atish and Shuber, 3 netties, Fuad in there, Hassan Sharif, the engine. My guy was loud. He was a team guy. I think at some point he gave 3 points in a row, and every single time he kept telling the guy to come to him. And I think the team at some point was like, maybe that's not a good idea. But man, the guy was fearless, right? Like he was in it. They played wonderful, and they climbed into the 6th spot when people thought they'd be fighting for a spot in the play-in. They walk into that quarterfinal. They take down New York in the first game. Almost felt like for a second they could win this one. Then New York makes their run and comes back, but it's almost like, wow, the United Stars B team not only has talent, but it has some youth that's going to only get better, and mix that with experience. I mean, that B team is very much like the Orlando B team that we saw in December. I mean, they were scary. HV, I mean, credit, bro. Like, never playing with this team, a wonderful team player. He was given a role. He played it. And to be honest, like, Stanmore, I don't know what you're doing with this man. I think he could be an asset. I think he deserves a crack on that A team. I think it's about time that he gets a crack on that A team. And I know maybe I might get some heat for this, but I'm gonna say it here. Like, that's what Lifted is about. I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. I truly believe he deserves to be on that Stanmore A team. If some guys don't want to play, then he deserves a shot. And he's a team first guy. He'll do anything you tell him to do, and with a smile on his face. Guys like him deserve a chance, and I'm hoping it comes soon. The medallion, easy. Mohamed Rajvani. I mean, come out, party, right? Like, we all know how talented he is with Morogoro outdoors, and but the man has transformed his game for the indoor game. And he's just an extremely smooth player to watch. Just lovely to watch him as a back center, floater after floater, goes about his business always, has a smile on his face, enjoys the vibes, enjoys the game. He's definitely going to be something special really soon. And I see him pulling an upset. If he's part of United Stars B, I think he can pull an upset the next tournament. And if he's on A, that's scary because there's no spots there. But they at some point, he might force them to make a spot. So Mohamed, all love your way. Medallion coming your way. 5, we the North. It was just nice to see North back on the court. I think it's just always fun watching them. Truly one of the biggest Smiley supporters we have in our tournaments. Sometimes the only Smiley supporters we have. And we're grateful to them. Fayaz, Abbas always come through with their promises. Abbas, again, aging like fine wine. If it was halal, nice to see Jamil Mauji back. Jamil looked amazing. And that was the last time he played. And he played with his friend, Shamash. And, it was just nice to see him back there in memory of Shamash, in honor of Shamash, playing for him. Nice to see the new additions like Adam Sidi. Amil was there. Adil was there. Zishan Banji. It was just nice to see Zishan Banji back, right? Like, just a guy that enjoys the game, laughing, smiling. North is a little bit in a weird spot, in my opinion. It's almost like they're stuck in the mid-tier right now, but could truly be a few pieces away from making something happen. Credit to them for still coming out, still keeping the team alive, supporting us, of course, bringing their A game. Adam Seedy's first tournament, you can tell he's got his dad swing, the up and down compact swing that his dad brought to the table for years. I think with more tournaments under his belt, he's only going to figure it out and he's going to get better. North is going to be back in New York. You know that because technically they're defending champs from 2018, 6 years removed from the last New York tournament. I hear there are some changes coming. I don't know what they are, but they're in the back pocket. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Some rumblings, but I don't know. Medallion, Abbas Kimji. Got to give it to the old man, right? The guy can swing it. He can still play some phenomenal defense. He can still go with the best of them. Him and Matham were swinging at each other in that quarterfinal. And I had a convo with him, and he told me North is going to be ready to contend in New York. He's hungry. He wants to feel that victory again. He's been a winner his whole life. And to be a winner, he's still got that fire. And we all know a Kimji with fire is a very scary thought. But maybe another Kimji with fire would be even scarier. Maybe Shanu. Maybe Irfan. I don't know what he's got up his sleeve. I'm going to manifest it. I would love to see Shanu and Abbas back at it together. Who says it can't happen? Shanu's still got the fire. I spoke to him in Banff. He still got it. He still wants to roll. And I don't know. I don't know what North is going to have up their sleeve, but I think it's going to be a fun time. I'm here to watch it, and I'm here to admire it. Abbas Kimji, man, medallion your way. Well-deserved. Hopefully we get to match up soon sometime. It'd be exciting. And this time, I think at your advanced age, I can take you down, finally. Number 4, the hosts, Minnesota Jaffries. I mean, what more can I say about Minnesota Jaffries, a team without one of their best players in Imran Walji? You can tell they were more fearless. They were gunning for it. They were playing free, an underdog type mentality. The front line, excellent as always. Mo Batouche, I think, has separated himself in that front line. I think he needs to be talked about more. One of the better up and coming front centers. You had Nick Num, KLJ, Kumelaka Jr. doing their thing as always. Super support guys on the side, right? Just like amazing at what they do for Matham. And then Matham, who went guns blazing in the semifinals against us and made us look human, as he says. What a fun team to watch. They all enjoy playing with one another. You can tell they're starting their come up. I mean, they're just in their beginning phases of what they can truly do, especially without Imran being there. And I don't know if Imran will be back or not for New York, but either way, they're scary. They're only going to get better. And with Monty, arguably the best netty in the game today, they got all the pieces. And now slowly all the experience. The medallion, Mohamed Al Batoush. Credit to him. He changed the game in that second game in the semis. He took a step back and he started cutting everything. And that allowed Matham to play less defense. It allowed Matham to start swinging. He was putting those balls in net. I mean, the guy's got it, right? He's got it. He's special. He's a joy to watch. He's always smiling. He's always laughing. Keep it going, young blood. You just have to work on your game a little more. We talked about this, but maybe hitting the ball a little bit more over because you got a good shot, ambidextrous, right? So you're special, man. You got a long way ahead of you that I'm sure is going to be filled with awards, accolades, and wins. Number 3, my guys, New York Union Islanders. I mean, I called them the dark horse, and they got on me about this, but I did it purposely, man. Give them that fire to want it more. Keep them under the radar. It's always good to be an underdog. They played amazing, man. Jaxie, Bode, KP, that back line was just special. They held it down. Sahil again playing multiple positions wherever they needed him to win. They put him, and he did it with a smile on his face. Shane doing Shane as always, the middleman that keeps it all together. And then Anu, who was huge in his role. I mean, he saved Shane a lot of times. The kid played phenomenal. He came in there and figured out a role for himself and played it to the best of his ability. And to be honest, I don't think they would have got to where they were if it wasn't for him. Another fun team to just watch. They enjoy the game. They're scrappy. They're always fighting to win a point. And to be honest, they also, like Minnesota, are very young. They're only on their come up as well, and they're going to be scary come New York time. It's about time for them to make that next leap. Now they're a semifinalist. Now hopefully in New York they can be a finalist and maybe win it. It is a home tournament. We've always made the finals there for the most part. And so that's sport time, man. That's they're going to be scary in their gym, and I think they can do something special. I see it. I don't know. It's there. Magic. A little bit of magic. I think I see it. They had a tough semifinal loss that first game. They kept it close with Stars, who were the eventual champions. They almost had it in the bag. They put up a good fight, and that's all you could really ask for, right? Bode's leadership still on display. Amazing leader. One of the true vets on the team. Defensive wall, and just overall, a great teammate. One of the best. I'm sure all of you can speak to the kids, and they'll tell you it's always a wonder playing with Bode. And the medallion goes to the often overlooked Yasser Wali. Why Bamba, as some may call him. And to me, I've always called him KJ Light. He wasn't himself in Orlando, and he knew that. We had a conversation about that, and he worked on that. He bettered himself physically. And to be honest, you could see it. You could see him becoming an elite frontline player again. I don't care what anyone says. I think this guy is one of the top frontline players in the game. He's proven it time and time again. I said it before, and I'll say it again. New York Union has always succeeded when Yasser Wali was playing well. He was always the difference maker for us. When he wasn't there, we were a different team. When he was there, we were a different team. When he played well, we were a different team. We were probably in the finals every time he played well. That's how much he held it down. He's a dog. He wants it more than anybody on the team. Always willing to put it all on the line. Always good vibes. One of the few guys I miss playing with, man. Like, I miss playing with Yasser because he's just chill. He's just no tension free. Whatever you need him to do, he's gonna do it. And I think he's brought himself back into the convo. As solid as he was. I think he's become special, and the medallion for you, and you deserve it, Yasser, from what you had to do to get to this point, and the fact that you are showing everyone that you still got it, that you are going to be a staple, that whatever team you play for, and hopefully it's New York, but if it's not, whatever team you join, just keep doing you, man, because you're definitely one of the best frontliners in the game, like I said. And maybe one day we'll suit it up together one more time on the same team. Let's go win a championship, man. You never know. Number 2, and the dreadful analysis that I have to put down, is Orlando Union A. For the first time on my podcast, I have to talk about Orlando Union as a runner-up. I never had to do that, and not a champion. That's different for me. That's a little different. A wonderful round robin. We go undefeated. A great quarterfinal against Vancouver, and to be honest, steamrolling until we met Minnesota in that second game. The first game was was a wash. In that second game, they started coming out swinging. We got caught. And it finally made us look beatable. I mean, overall, you could say everyone played well. No one played bad. We just lost our way. And in that second game, I think it gave Stars the confidence after we took the L that listen, man, there's a game plan. Even these guys are beatable. Everyone is beatable. It wasn't easy. It wasn't coming easy anymore. And we almost seemed like shell shocked when it was happening. We didn't have an answer. We win that third game in a very old school Orlando Union type of way. It was gritty. It was just defensive prowess showcased. And then, and then we hit Stars. And we'll touch on Stars more as we get to Stars after this. They executed the plan to perfection. Whatever Stars did, I mean, it was to perfection. I think nobody had an answer. I think we were a little bit lost, and I think it took us by surprise. And I guess when you're on cruise control for so long, and then someone just breaks in front of you, and you got to get back into cruise control, it takes a while to get to that speed. It takes a while for you to recalibrate and adjust. And we never got to that point. We never got to cruising again. And it was one of those things and one of those days. We weren't the better team that day. I think any one of our teammates, my teammates can tell you that. I do want to give credit to Aliti, Musti, Ari, the Netties, all three of them, for being that support system for us. They all were there, trying to support us any which way they can throughout the tournament. I think they all kept us grounded, and they were in our ears. I think we're going to come back stronger, hungrier, more focused. I think that's a key thing. I think we've all taken blame for the loss. It was entirely a team loss. And I want to say a part of it was similar to what Stanmore was like when it came to Orlando. We walked in a little bit overconfident. We walked in thinking we're just going to steamroll past everybody. And we didn't. And we're beatable. Everyone is. And it woke us up. Everyone knows where they were at fault. And I think we take it in the chin. And we get right back up and move on. I mean, there's not much else we can do except understand what we did wrong, get right back up, and just move on. Everyone's asking me, like, you don't seem so down. Why don't you seem down, Sal? Like you're not as upset about the loss. And I said, man, like this is my 7th final, my 6th loss in my 7th final. Nothing phases me anymore. I've been here so many times. A loss only gets me more fired up. I get knocked down. The next day I wake back up and it's business as usual. Next tournament, I think about what I'm going to do next. I think about how I'm going to get better. I think about what I'm going to do to help this team. It's business as usual. Back at practice, I try to bring that fire back in me, that hunger back in me, and try to give it to my teammates as much as I can. And then I try to find the guy that we're going after, the big dog, and that right now is United Stars. And we focus on that. We focus on what we can do next. I think we all have that mentality. I think we're all back up and looking forward to New York now. You can't win them all, and now our focus is on the next one. The medallion, it goes to Arifli Chatu and Mustafa Shuji, the two servicemen that were probably the most consistent players out of our whole team the entire tournament. For the first time, we tried the 2 servicemen thing, which was pretty cool. A lefty server, a righty server. And they all took huge points for us in crucial games in the round robin and quarterfinals and semifinals. They came in clutch. They didn't make any mistakes in the finals. They would always put us in positions to succeed. And for that, they deserve this more than anybody, to be honest, on the team. You guys both deserve this. Musti, the medallion is gold. You can put it on your chain. I think you're going to love it, man. I think it's going to be a perfect piece for you to wear. The champs, number 1. The champs, United Stars. Okay, where do I begin? Let's talk about United Stars for a second, because this is going to be good, I think. Let's relive this story a little. I'm gonna take you through narrative. I'm gonna take you through how the story plays out in my mind. How this championship was very important. How it signifies that a team can truly come back from anything, right? And I'll explain. Turab goes down in the semis in Orlando against Minnesota. He was told he didn't have any fire in his eyes. That lit a fire in his eyes. He goes out and gets Usman, Lambada, Amir Dax, and Imran Nasser. Okay, we hear about them all year long. We hear Imran Nasser's podcast where everyone is talking about this all-star team, and Imran Nasser is talking about how good they look and how confident they are. And everyone knows that a team is being created to bring down Orlando Union. Pretty much. Okay. That's what the word was. That's what the rumors were. That's what was happening in front of us. We all knew that this was going to be possibly the showdown in the finals. All everyone could talk about was Orlando versus Stars. And then we get Stars coming in first day, hot as hell. They looked amazing, looking like the real deal. But slowly we start to see cracks. Jabir comes in the front at some point. They're playing four in the front. Durab isn't himself. Irfan isn't himself. Durab is sitting some games. And they take an L to Allentown Union. And that means that the Allentown curse still continues throughout, by the way. And they take a bad L against us. And everyone's like, wow, Orlando is still way more superior. I mean, that wasn't even a game. And it all looked like it was just going to go downhill from there. Rob walks into day 3 against Haes quarterfinal and comes out in the beginning of the first game. What was that? Like, that was, to me, the telltale sign that this team wasn't going to be able to do it. And everyone sees what's happening, and they start to wonder, is Stars the real deal? Is it really, truly going to be their tournament? I mean, nobody is truly themselves. And then something clicks. And all of a sudden they're pulling a 2 straight quarterfinal victory. Then they pull a 2 straight semifinal victory. And it's like, okay, Stars are looking like Stars. And they're starting to look like that team. It's so funny. We work so hard for tournaments, right? All year long. We practice, put in a lot of hard work in the gym, whatever it is. And then this happens, right? No one is truly ready for what happens within the tournament. The tournament itself is a story. The tournament itself is a journey, right? In itself. And it's a storyline. And if you look at Minnesota and Orlando, for example, where they were day 1, day 2, I mean, imagine what they're thinking about going to bed. Day 1, they're thinking, man, it's over for us. We've lost huge games. And they come back and they fight back and they end up in the finals. And you're in your head. You lose that confidence. You don't have much time to fight back. And it's a story within the story. That's what makes this win so compelling to me, is the story within the story. It's the hardships throughout the 3 days. And if it wasn't for those hardships, I don't think they get to where they were. I don't think they prevail. I don't think they figure it out, because those are the tests that made them get to where they were. And just like Minnesota, man, Stars found a way in the finals, and they put it to us. Let's talk about the finals. 2 straight. So they swept the playoffs just like Orlando did in December. The second one was close. The first one was a wash. But it almost seemed like even when they were down 9-4, they weren't even phased, bro. They didn't even call a timeout. They weren't stressed. You can tell they were confident. They had a game plan. They stuck to it for both games. They didn't deviate from it. Whether they were up or they were down, they didn't waver. And I can say one thing: it was a team win. It was a Thurab win. It was a United Stars win. Imran said it in his pod. It's going to be United Stars that's going to be talked about now, not Thurab, right? As people say Thurab is United Stars. This was United Stars. I mean, I got to give credit to Thurab. He bought in. He was a wonderful leader. You could see him in the timeouts. I mean, he's keeping everyone composed. He is composed, especially with what he was going through during the tournament. I mean, he stayed true to the process. And for the first time in his career, he had to share. And sharing is not easy for a guy who's had 100% of 100%, right, for a long time. And for the first time in his career, to play that much defense as a center, to control the game that way, to not look for points, to just find ways to navigate through a game plan and just stay with it the whole time and not deviate. I mean, that is strong mental, purpose. That's just strong mentally. And as a center, if you go watch that final, you can appreciate it. You can admire it. He's just playing the game. He's not getting too high, getting too low, float for float. And that is, to me, what makes him the best. All three aspects. He's got it down. And that's why he's the best center in their game right now. And he relied on his teammates, and his teammates came through. And for him to rely on his teammates for the first time when he was a man that wanted to do everything himself, it made him better, but he made them better. He was digging the ball in the net. He was moving around. He was playing the best he could defensively. And special credit to him. He deserves it. I know you worked hard for this, and you deserve it, man. You got it. The Netties, Swaggy and Raheem, an amazing combo. You could see the joy in them. You could see them being just a good support system. And for them to lift the ball, man, to both Rob and Lambada, and the way they did it, it was special. They figured out the perfect timing, the perfect chemistry. And they were able to give everyone the perfect amount of balls to keep them warm. Swaggy spiking more than he's ever been, using that height. Great lifting throughout the tournament for these guys. You guys played amazing. Amir Dox, he played that Imran Jurvaj role like Imran did in Orlando. Wasn't in the game too much, but by design, right? But hey, he got the ball, and when he got the ball, he did the right thing. And that's all you can ask for him. He played his role. He didn't get too high. He didn't try to do anything special. You couldn't have asked for anything more from him. Don't worry, Amir. I think the next tournament, you'll surely be getting a lot more balls. Samir, can we talk about Samir for a second? I don't think this formation and plan works. This game plan works without Samir. I'll be honest with you. I think Samir held it down on that back right position. He was on the line like I was in December, and he got a lot more balls, man. Credit to him. He saved multiple balls, crucial balls in the playoffs. He allowed Jabber and Imran to play stress-free. They were able to move around and do whatever they wanted. And just, again, a brilliant team player who will do anything to win. I really do believe he was one of the biggest difference makers. Watching that finals, I see how many balls he was able to take, how many balls he saved for them. And again, he allowed the guys to just do their thing. They didn't have to worry. He was there for them. Usman Lambada, the best back left in the game, and just as smooth as smooth as it gets. And just as you think he's aging, I'm just kidding, brother. He looks better. He looks better and better. Effortless, a good vibe. The chemistry with him and Thurab, unmatched. I mean, you can see the joy in him while playing. He's playing free. He's attacking first balls. He's digging the ball in the net. I mean, he's him. Usman Lambada is him. Nothing surprises me with Usman anymore, and he gets better with age. Like I said, a team first guy, and we could possibly be witnessing the best backline in the game and the best 1-2 punch in volleyball, maybe to ever exist. Maybe. Jaber Alidina. Jaber Alidina, and this might be a little bit of a rant, and I'm sorry, but y'all said he was done. Y'all said he was washed. And y'all obviously are tripping, because if anything, it was a resurrection of his career. Jaber Alidina right now is the best defensive backline player in the game. And if anyone wants to debate me on it, give me a call. He played front this tournament, back left, back right, center, for God's sake. I mean, what else do you want the guy to do? He's proven it time and time again. The amount of work he has to put in. I mean, watch him on the floor, man. Watch him get to every ball in that final. Like, he was just everywhere. Imagine he possibly got 100 third balls hit at him at some point in the finals. And he gave what, 3 points, 4 points, 5 points? That's an insane ratio, bro. To me, when it's all said and done, he could be up there with the likes of Hasnain, Gigi, and Askrunkel. Like, to me, right now, he's third on that list. And to me, he deserves it. He's a team guy. He'll do whatever it takes. He deserves the dub. All credit to you. And thank you for shutting up the doubters. And the Mount Rushmore of defense right there. You all should admire it before it's gone, because he's on that Mount Rushmore for sure. Imran Nasir, the dog, Imran Nasir. I could tell you I told you so. I could tell you that the podcast said it all. I could tell you that if there's one man on this team, one man that deserved it more than anybody else, it was Imran Nasser. He put in the work. He's always been a fighter. He has brought up young guys in the game. He has led teams. He has lost some close games. He has been through heartbreak in finals and semifinals. He has tasted defeat after defeat. And for him to come out on top makes me so happy for him. I'm probably the happiest guy for him because I would like to think our careers were very parallel to one another. Me, him, Turab, Imran Walji, all kind of had parallel careers. And to see him come out as a champ, to see him adjust to the front right, to see him return ball after ball, to see him go down in some of the games and come right back up and be that dog in that finals. Almost like, yo, nobody's going to beat me. If anybody's going to beat me, it's going to be myself. That's just everything you want in a team. That's everything you want in a teammate. That's everything you want in a player. Imran Nasser, you deserve the finals MVP. You deserve the MVP. You are the dog. You are a champ. And to be honest, I couldn't have respected you and your game even more. Everyone, I think, saw what I was talking about. Everyone saw why you were the difference maker. Everyone saw why you were more special than anybody else on that team. Why your addition made the difference. And I could promise you, the carousel of frontline guys that came through the United Star system, you have come there and debunked all that, and you have made your name back in this game. So Imran Nasser, congratulations to you, man. You deserve it. The medallion, Irfan Karmali. While yes, Imran Nasser deserved the medallion too. He did get the finals MVP. To me, this tournament only proved one thing, and the proof has been there in the pudding. We just maybe haven't noticed it. United Stars goes as far as Irfan Karmali goes. I said it, probably the best front center in United Stars history is Irfan Karmali. Irfan Karmali wasn't himself the first 2 days. I think he can tell you that himself. Irfan Karmali was part of game plans. People were hitting down the middle. Irfan Karmali was put into a position where he had to play front left center at some point. Irfan Karmali was not Irfan Karmali. And when Irfan Karmali is not right, Turab isn't right. And when Turab isn't right, Stars isn't right. And when Stars isn't right, losses after losses. But when Irfan Karmali is right, then everyone's right. And that right brought them to a championship. If it wasn't for Irfan Karmali, if it wasn't for his passion, if it wasn't for his leadership, if you see the timeouts, he's going buck wild. If it wasn't for his confidence, at some point he's digging the ball in net and just zeroing it. You know what I'm saying? Like that level of like dog mentality. And I think it was a little bit of that Imran Nasser just, rubbing off on him. Irfan Karmali, you deserve this medallion more than anybody else. You have put your name back on top as one of the best front centers in the game, like you always have been. And to do what you did, to come back from that, a lot of credit to you, a lot of credit to what you've done. I think the spotlight now should be given to you on your career, on what you have accomplished, because this was the one for you. This was the one to go up against that front line. You know, you've always had battles with Kizzer. You've always had battles with Orlando Union's front line. And this time, brother, you prevailed. And you deserve that medallion. Here we are. The new era of Stars has begun. And I'm actually honored that Stars had to put this team together to beat us. Honestly, like it's a sentiment. I'm not joking. I think it's a sentiment to how great we were. And look at how great they are. They're special. Obviously, the favorites going into the next tournament. And I think that everyone's going to be anticipating. It's only going to get better for Stars, I'm sure. Their chemistry is only going to get better. Their confidence is only going to be better. And I think it's going to be fun to see what matchups come out of this and what happens in New York. But T, another chapter in our rivalry. And yet again, you get the dub. Love for you always. But I think we got another chapter left in us. I don't know. I don't think the rivalry is done yet. You know what they say? Let a dog roam and he'll find his way home. The dog is back in me and I'm coming home. New York City. The Mecca I'll see you there. This time, the tides may turn, brother. I don't know. We'll see. Good night, everybody. And I love you all.